Hey guys, I was on a Facebook group page the other day, and one of the posts, there was a post about how a stylist had given their 2 weeks notice at the salon they were working at, and during that notice period, they had reached out to some clients of the salon, or some of their clients, and told them that they were leaving and where they were going. And one of those clients reached out to the salon owner and said, hey, so-and-so reached out to me and told me they're leaving, just thought you should know. That salon owner, very understandably, dismissed the person immediately, pack your stuff, get out, and I might charge you with theft or something. Like, I don't know what they said they were going to charge them with, but basically the person had posted this situation going, hey, I gave notice, I reached out to some clients, one of the clients reached out to the salon owner, and the salon owner immediately fired me, told me to get out, and said they might press charges. What the hell? So I feel like my job, I don't know about jobs you get paid for, but you know what? I do speak on business and I do get paid for that. So maybe this is my job. This is part of my job. This is furthering my ability to get future work, maybe to build an audience, or to repel a future audience, because there's a lot of you guys who have watched my videos over the years, and that's arrogant of me to say there's a lot of you guys. A few people have watched my videos and not liked what I've had to say, and probably don't like me, if you're aware of me at all. But I feel like my duty as a salon owner and a hairdresser is to not only play devil's advocate, but to also expose ignorant stylists, to the other side of the coin. Okay, there's two sides to every story. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle. Now, right now, I am not talking in any way about shitty salon owners. Okay, there are a ton of those people. There's a ton of people who have no business owning a hair salon. I'm talking about salon owners with employees who do not blur the lines between booth rental and employee, and do not screw around and do not try to take advantage of people. I'm talking about salon owners who try to do things properly, because I feel like the people who are a little bit crooks, probably, I don't have a lot of empathy for those people. But there's also a lot of salon owners who do things right, and I do have a lot of empathy for those people. So I'm going to teach you to hopefully have a little bit of empathy for their position in this type of situation. This situation, guys, when you are an employee of a hair salon, and that doesn't matter if you've given notice or not, if you're choosing to work out your notice, if you don't walk in and say, I quit and I'm leaving now, you are currently, oh shit, some cardboard just flew out of my trunk on a bridge. Oh my God, out of my truck bed. So not good. You're an employee of that hair salon or of that business. And as an employee of the business, whether you give notice or not, you have one job and one job only, and that is to further the reputation and the money-making future ability of that business by being a great employee, period. That's it. That's what your job is. Anything else, if you were going to cost the business money, if you were going to repel future clients, anything like that, you would not have the job, okay? So the relationship is, I'm going to be a good employee and I'm going to represent this business, period. Right? The second you no longer do that, you should be fired immediately. And this salon owner fired this person instantly. Now, whether they gave notice or not, if you cut that person's notice not, you're terminating the employment, right? And the reason the person did it was because this employee was stealing from the business. And you might go, whoa, hang on. Those were her clients. Those were their clients. How can that be theft? The clients have a choice on who to go to. No. All of that may be true, but let's boil this down to what the employee and employer relationship is. Your job is to help the business grow and to further the business's reputation by helping create future revenue. That's what your job is, right? It's as simple as that. Whether you work at the Gap selling freaking t-shirts or you work in a hair salon doing hair, that's what your job is to represent the salon to the best of your ability and uphold the values of the salon, period, while you are an employee of that salon. Now, what are the assets of a hair salon? The assets are certainly not the used furniture. The assets of a hair salon are the retail products on the shelves, the color on the back bar, and the client list, period. Those are the assets of a hair salon. What's the main asset of the hair salon? What generates the most amount of money and hopefully, not percentage-wise profit. The retail is generating a higher percentage of profit, for sure. The actual color asset is generating a higher percentage, I don't want to say a profit, but certainly turnaround, a $10 tube of color, translating into a $100 service, that's pretty good, right? But the main asset, the main money generating asset of a hair salon is the client list, right? We do hair in exchange for money. So if you are reaching out to those clients, salon clients, right? They're salon clients. They're getting their hair done in the salon. And we'll talk about your emotional feelings about who the clients belong to and all that stuff in a minute. But from a purely black and white perspective, if you are trying to take future business away from the salon while you're an employee, do it after. When you're not an employee, fine, do whatever the fuck you want. But while you're an employee, that is a fireable offense. And in Canada or BC, that's fireable with cause, meaning you did some shit that causes you to get fired without severance pay. If you get fired and you didn't do something with cause, you're entitled to severance pay. Now, I'm not sure how it works in the States. I think it would be. There's tons of people who get settlements for wrongful dismissal. So if you're fired for something you didn't do, then you have a recourse. But if you're trying to take future revenue from a business, it's no different than the person from the Gap stealing a t-shirt and going, whoa, I can't believe they fired me for theft. It's the same shit, okay? So you need to understand, guys, that's what it's about from a purely black and white perspective. If you're an employee of a business, you don't steal from the business. The asset of the business is the client list, so you don't take the asset of the business. Now, so that's where you need to understand that salon owner's standpoint, and they are 100% correct and in the right for doing what they did. No bitching or whining from the hairdresser, okay? You did some shady shit, you got caught for it, and you got fired, okay? And by the way, if you go to be an employee somewhere else, I hope that hurts your reputation because you did some shady shit. Now, my answer to this question on the Facebook post was exactly what I said to you, but much shorter because y'all know I'm very long-winded. But I also said, added the addendum at the very bottom of it, and by the way, you did some shady shit there. I got jumped on by all these people. And they're like, and the laugh, the Facebook laugh one. I love the laugh one. When you say, when what I'm saying to you is some kind of a joke. Idiot. It's not a joke. It's business. Okay? It's not a joke. Now, so many people are saying, no, the clients are theirs, or she made those clients happy, or they made those clients happy. The clients came back because of the stylist. Well, maybe. But let's put this in perspective. What if the clients didn't come back because of the stylist? Would the stylist have had a job? Would the stylist have maybe been taken off the floor and maybe put in for retraining because clearly they suck? Or they're not good enough yet? Or maybe they're giving poor customer service? Or would the stylist have been fired for this? I'm not putting people in your chair if you're not going to turn them around and make them repeat customers. So what is your job as a hairdresser? What do you think your job is? Is it to make clients happy? To pre-book their future appointments and to try to sell them some retail and ask them for a referral? So if you're a busy hairdresser, if you've grown in a hair salon from very little or nothing into something in a hair salon, you didn't come in with your own client list. Now, by the way, guys, if you walked into that salon as an employee with a book, I feel very different about this. I feel like if you walked in with that asset, the salon owner, it's a gray area. It's a gray area. But if you didn't walk in with a full book, and you've grown those people since you've been there, that's what your job was. That's what you were hired to do. If you didn't do that, you probably would have been fired. So let's not try to take credit for doing our job. If you're growing in a hair salon, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Let's not try to take credit and say, no, 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 look how awesome I am for doing your job. That's what you were hired for. You don't think you were hired to make customers happy? So no, all you've done is met the expectations of the job. Now, really successful hairdressers, the really expensive ones, the really good ones, they just do their job 100% of the time as opposed to 80% of the time. Most hairdressers do their job like less than 50% of the time. Most hairdressers are not doing their job, which is why most hairdressers are not successful. And it makes it easy for those hairdressers who are dedicated to their career and dedicated to their job to doing really, really well. Because all they have to do is show up on time, looking good, being rested, not being hungover, hair and makeup on point, dressed well, being good at what they do, right? Because nobody's sitting in your chair expecting you to be expecting anything less than good hair. Good hair is the bare minimum, guys. Can you imagine? Oh, I'm going to go to this new hairdresser. I'm hoping that they, give me shitty hair. No, they're wanting good hair. So doing good hair is the bare minimum. So the successful hairdresser shows up dressed, on point. Everything's good. They understand. They understand what current trends are. They achieve really great hair. They're good listeners. They're good with consultations. They make good suggestions. They understand what the person's wants are. Even if the person doesn't necessarily understand what their wants are, they're able to manifest that person's fantasy hair and send the person out looking and feeling like $1 million. And then they pre-book. And then they tell that person to send in your friends, and here's that shampoo we talked about when I was shampooing you. That's what you're supposed to do to be successful. The really good ones, they do that all the time. All the time. They never miss an opportunity. They never, ever miss an opportunity to ask for a referral or to send that person out feeling like $1 million. They don't hit a home run every single time because sometimes people are just not thrilled with the result, but they give outstanding customer service and the hair is good no matter what. It may not be the greatest hair the person's ever had. Maybe the person has an unrealistic expectation, or maybe there's some miscommunication. Shit happens. The really successful hairdressers get it right most of the time, and they show up ready to do it all of the time. Okay? So that's what the job is. In my perfect world as a salon owner, all of my staff do that 100% of the time. The reality of it is the 80-20 rule, guys. It's always the 80-20 rule. 20% of the people bring in 80% of the money. 80% of the people bring in or make 20% of the money. And that's the reality of it in our industry. And that's the reality of most things. What we want to try to do is get it down to 50-50 if we can. I've been there. I've been there before, where I've had just a room full of killers. It's definitely happened. Our industry is a tough one, though. And now, so that's the reality of everything. So let's not get arrogant about doing our jobs, okay? But let's now look at this from that stylist perspective. Yes, most of those clients are coming back because of you. Yes, most of those clients are, yes, they like the salon. The salon was in a convenient location, maybe, and it's clean, and maybe they like the energy of the room. Most of those clients are going to be loyal to you. Certainly at least half of them. And absolutely in this time of social media, of people being easily able to find where you are. And, anytime one of my stylists is like, hey, follow my Instagram, I'm not stupid. I know what they're doing, right? That's their way of collecting the client list, so they don't have to go old school like I did when I stole clients from a hair salon when I was an employee by going into the paper and pencil book and writing down freaking phone numbers pre-social media. Listen, I did it, guys. I was a piece of shit. I did that same thing. And I thought I was well within my rights, but I'll tell you one thing, guys. I opened my first salon from being an employee about 5 blocks from the salon that I was a fully booked employee at, and I would say I lost half my clients. Half of the people who said, oh my God, if you ever leave, tell me. Half the people who said, you need to come to my house every morning. Half of the people who said, I can't live without you. Oh my God, you're the greatest thing. Half of those people did not follow me to my next salon when I opened one, and I had to rebuild. And by the way, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I went from a 50 employee salon where I was one of the top earners, and I was certainly in the top 5 earners of the business, 3 earners of the business, booked out massively. My ego was out of control. And when I went to that other location, it was just a 2-chair salon with me and my now wife, who was never an asshole like me. And she taught me how customer care should go and how to be kind to people. And some of you are probably like, well, you're still a total asshole. I'm way less of an asshole now. And the reason is I'm older, I'm wiser, I'm 53 years old today. I've seen things from both sides of the equation, and I understand who somebody is as an arrogant hairdresser thinking that they're really successful when really they're just having mediocre success, right? I was a $10,000 a month hairdresser charging $40 a haircut 25 years ago, you know? And when I see, what should that translate into today? What should a really successful full-time hairdresser be generating behind the chair today? A successful one, minimum 200 grand a year, right? They should. If I was doing 10 grand at $40 a haircut and balayage didn't exist 25 years ago, it makes sense to me that things should be double, right? That's $20,000 a month. It should be 20 grand a month, right? So $240,000 a year generated behind the chair would make a successful hairdresser. And even if you're a commission employee, a 50% split, you're making 120 grand a year. Not a bad living for somebody who bends hair for a living. Not bad. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Oh, but because I've lived on both sides of the equation of this, guys, once I figured this out as an employer, because I started hiring my own people, I immediately saw things from both sides of the perspective, and I had a much greater understanding of why my employer was upset about the things he had been upset about. And I sought him out and I apologized. And did it matter to him? Probably not. Because I've had people come to me and apologize to me for stuff where, you know, at the time, they're treating me like the world's biggest asshole. And then afterwards, people came up to me and apologized and acknowledged their own responsibility in the breakdown of our relationship. And did I feel better? Part of me was kind of like, yeah, fuck you. But part of me did feel better. I've actually had a few people reach out to me in the last couple of years. And somebody wrote me a really, really lovely note not too long ago where they expressed, because at the time I was like, wait, I've treated you really well. There's a lot of times, guys, where I get treated like shit from an employee. And I'm the bad guy, I'm the villain. But I didn't do anything different. What happened was they decided they were successful today. They're like, now I'm busy. I have less use for this person. These clients are coming for me, and this is the ego part of it. And now I'm going to have this cognitive dissonance where I've already decided that this person's an asshole because I want to leave. So now I'm going to start checking every time this person does something that I now perceive as being negative. I can put it into my pile of my list of reasons to quit, right? This is what we do, guys. When we break up in a relationship, right? We start checking off all the shitty things the person does, and we ignore the 20 great things, and we start looking just at the 3 shitty things. And maybe we even have a countdown. The next shitty thing this person does is going to be the day I quit, because I've already established my book, and then I can feel better about my own. Hang on, I got a phone call. And then I can feel better about myself and my choice for leaving this business, right? I have to create a villain in order for me to leave. I have to create a villain in order for me to shit talk the former employer to the clients to tell them why I've left, right? Because while I was there, I was saying, isn't this place great? But now that I'm leaving, I have to say, isn't that guy a piece of shit? So I have to have my list together, right? Or else I can't just say, yeah, the guy was freaking awesome, but it was time to move on. Very few of you guys do that, right? We need a villain in the story. We need to be the hero in the story. I had to stand up for my virtues. I'll tell you guys, there's maybe 3 or 4 things that I really wish I could take back as far as bad fires or bad things that I've done with employees. Yet I have 100 employees that'll tell you what a piece of shit I am, because they have to. That's their narrative. But none of them would ever look at it and go, what was my cause in the breakdown of this relationship? What did I do? Was I a good employee? Was I dedicated, truly dedicated to the brand, to the company, right? Now I'm going off on a tangent. All I'm trying to do, guys, is to let you know, A, it's a piece of shit move to go after the clients while you're an employee of the business, right? And if you get caught, you should be fired. Here's how you know, by the way, it's a shit move. You did it with whispers, right? You did it outside of the salon. You didn't do it vocally in front of everybody, right? Anytime we do something shady to somebody, well, you know you're doing something shady if you wouldn't do it right in front of them, right? So there's your answer, black and white, that's it. If you did it sneaky, you know you shouldn't have been doing it, okay? So own your shit, right? And I hope I've given you just a little bit of perspective of what this relationship is supposed to be like. And yes, hair salons are a weird place. It is a weird dynamic. It's a weird relationship. The whole client thing is a strange thing. But just understand, guys, if you're making the clients happy, you're not doing something special. You're doing your job. You're doing what you're supposed to do, okay? So let's not pat ourselves on the back too much about clients saying they love their hair, because that's what you're hired to do in the first place. Have an awesome day.